How's it going, everybody? Photographers, analog enthusiasts, Adrian Hallberg here from AH Photography. Welcome to another installment. In this video, we're going to take a look at some video clips and images I took when I was on a trip last June up in the Pacific Northwest, up in Northern California and along the Oregon coast. I took along with me my Hasselblad and I shot a roll of Portra 160. So let's go ahead and take a look at these images and some cool video as well. All right, so we headed up to near Crescent City in the Redwoods and stayed at this little Airbnb, kind of remote, super remote, off of the highway on a dirt road in the middle of the forest. There's kind of a little community of off-grid folks. They had their own garden, goats, a lot of animals, chickens, things like that. We stayed in this tiny little wood hut. It was really hot. We had our dogs with us, and I thought the ambiance and everything about it was pretty cool. So I snapped a couple pics while we were there. And while we were staying in this area, we were near the border of Oregon, California, near Crescent City, and we headed into Jedediah Smith State Park and just took a little stroll through the Redwood forest in that particular location. We were on a pretty quick road trip because we were making it all the way up the 101 in Oregon to Portland, then back down to Salt Lake. So, and we were staying somewhere different every night. So it was like spend the day hanging out somewhere. We spent 2 nights at this place though, so we had 1 full day. And during that day, we drove around and saw some cool spots. So I also took some pictures in the Redwoods as well. So once we were headed up the 101 in Oregon, we stopped at the Arch near Golden Beach, I believe. And I've been there before in 2017. I made some really cool images that I love with my digital camera years ago. So I was excited to be in the same spot and use my Hasselblad, which is what got me into analog and film photography in the first place, using medium format. So I was excited to be in the same spot and have a different take of the arch and the coastline from that area. So with the image of the arch, I want to get some flowers in the foreground, and I use the focus lines on the lens. When you increase or decrease your f-stop on the lens, your depth of field increases and decreases. As you know, if you go to f22, you're depth of field is less shallow than if you're at f2.8. So I think it was overcast and I was at ISO 160, so I needed to use a little bit of an open aperture. And so I think I was at f8. So I'm happy with the way one of the images I turned out, where I was focused at infinity looking down the coast, and then the one with the flowers in the arch, because I didn't put the focus, the infinity right in the middle, you know, I moved it over because I had that room with that depth of field. It looks okay when you look at it, but if you zoom in on the arch, it's a little bit blurry, it's not quite in focus, but this is just kind of an experiment. I've never done that before. I always put the infinity, you know, focus it on infinity when I'm shooting infinity, even though there's those room for your depth of field when you have a smaller aperture. I've never, you know, used that guideline for, you know, that room of focus. So anyways. So we continued up the 101 up the Oregon coast. We stopped in Cannon Beach. I got a cool shot of a lighthouse kind of looking down the coast from high up on a cliff. We got a couple shots at Cannon Beach, and then we headed to Portland and the Columbia River Gorge. At this point, once we got to the Columbia River Gorge, I used up the last couple images I had on the Portra 160 roll when we were in Cannon Beach. So then I threw on a roll of Velvia 100 and took 2 images at the gorge, Columbia River Gorge, with the Velvia 100. Yeah, so while we were on this trip, I used large format slide film for the first time as well, so I'll be making a video coming out once I get those images back from the lab. I took 20 images using 4x5 sheet film using a Toyo view camera, so I'm really excited to see how those turn out. I'll have another video with more clips, more in depth, and some clips using the camera while we were on the coast. I got some really cool shots at the Columbia River Gorge and on the beach, Cannon Beach, using that camera. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.